video, I'm going to talk about growing honesty from seed. It's actually a really easy plant to grow from seed. And what's really great about it is it self-seeds, so will come back every year. It's a nice tall plant. It's got lovely flowers. You can get it in like a purpley, lilac or white. It's very lovely. It's a very cottagey garden plant. You can also use it as a cut flower, and you can dry the seed heads as well. Here's a small plant that was sown in on the 1st of September, which I guess is probably getting a bit late to be sowing honesty because it needs the summer to bulk up its body weight and its leaves and foliage ready for flowering the next year. I'm planting some in this border here where it will complement my alliums and my Bistorta pink pokers and my Queen of the Night tulips. Here is some that were sown in good time, so you can see how much bigger they are. And they've got these kind of fluted, frilly, heart-shaped leaves when they get a little bit more mature. So I know these are going to be good next year. This is where I had my plants flowering last year. And as you can see, they've self-sown all over the pathway. Now, these are quite small, so it'll be interesting to see how big these get, but I don't want them on the pathway, so I am going to dig them up. But they've also self-sown inside the pot that they were growing in, as you can see here. So although it's ideal, if you look on the seed packets in the UK seed packets, for instance, it says a sow around June, but I'm interested to see if they will flower and get fully grown. They'll take off in the spring, especially if we have a mild spring. But what I might do is just give them a little bit of an advantage by putting them in the greenhouse, digging these ones up and putting them in the greenhouse. Because, now that they've sprouted, I might as well try and see what happens with them. But I suspect, like you just saw in that clip just then, they might end up being short flowering plants rather than tall, big mother plants like the other one that you could see. So these ones I think will be fine, but the smaller ones, I'm not sure how they're going to fare. So again, just to reiterate, ideally sow in the middle of summer and give them enough time, like this one, to bulk right up. So over here's another one I sowed. I sowed some white honesty here on the 1st of September, and they vary, all these three on the top here on the top shelf. Actually, they were all sown at the same time, but this one is a little bit spindly on the end here. As you can see, 1st of September, that's a white honesty. So they're really beautiful, really easy to grow. So I definitely recommend them depends how big your borders are, but they are medium to tall plants. So if you have really, really tall cottage garden plants like the really big delphiniums, then these will probably be happier just slightly in front of those. But as I say, they will self-seed and come back every year. Now, the great thing about them is they're really easy to collect the seeds as well. And I have a whole jar full of the seeds that I collected on the 1st of September when the seed pods were nice and dry. And, like you could see the papery, golden, dry seed pods. Inside there are all the seeds, and here, look, these ones here, yeah. So you can see this one here has 2 seeds still in it. Most of the time the seeds will have fallen out by now, but I did find one with some seeds still in it, and those little round eyeballs are the actual seeds, not the silvery papery pod. And here you can see, just from those 2 small plants that I had last year, I've nearly got a whole jar of dried seeds here, which I can use for the next couple of years. I wish I had actually done more of them this year, but because I realised my borders do need a lot of stock, a lot of stock of flowers, and I don't know whether I've sowed enough because the borders are going to be a lot bigger this year, but we'll see. But anyway, you can see they're nice and dry in this jar, and there's lots of them. So I'm never going to be short of honesty in my garden again. And it's also, did I say, I don't know if I mentioned, it makes a really lovely cut flower, often used as a filler in bouquets. So it's beautiful. And at the time of year when it flowers, at the time of year when you've got the alliums and the tulips and, other sort of complementary, you've got spireas and all the sort of complementary colours all flowering at the same time, and it goes very well with all those May flowering plants. It even goes well with my self-seeding Granny's Bonnet Columbine. So there you have it. That's honesty. So ideally in June, really easy. Just use some fertile compost with some sand so it's nice and free draining, and you can collect the seeds when it's dry. Just take care of it like you would any plant, but really it's super, super easy to grow, and it will continue to grow and self-seed year after year. I've noticed it prefers part shade, so that's why it did very well tucked behind the rose hedge there, so it gets some sunshine, more like dappled sunshine. And it was quite sheltered in this spot, but honestly I think it's a very easy plant to grow, and it needs even less care if it's growing in the ground as opposed to in a pot like these. So what else can I say? Have a go at growing honesty. It's just so easy, it's got to be done. Thanks for watching. See you again in my next video. Bye.